Some high-end headphones are made out of wood. My son Jason, a master's degree in music and audiophile, brought this project with me about upgrading or pimping these headphones, these Grado headphones. So I thought it'd be a fun project for you. Some folks like them just because they look cool. Other people say the wood makes them sound better. We're using mahogany because it has a good look to it, and some folks say it sounds good. So, hi, I'm Mike Peace Woodturning, and I'm here to share with you tips, tricks, and techniques to help you become a woodturner. So if this is something you're interested in, you click on the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you won't miss any videos. I'm using mahogany for this project just because I had it on hand and it was dry. So we start by taking a piece long enough for, I would say 3 of them, so you can do 1 prototype and then 2 final pieces. They're about 1.5 inches each, so you want a piece with a tenon all close to 6 inches. It's going to be about 2.5 inches wide. Of course, these dimensions depend on what type of headphone you're pimping, but these are the dimensions for these Grado S60Es. Okay, I've measured all the dimensions, but basically I took the blank that's maybe 2 3/4 in diameter and turned it round between centers, put an appropriate tenon on it for my chuck. I'm using these record power 75mm bowl jaws, which work real well for a larger center. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to drill a hole, 1.5 inch hole down through the center. It took about an hour to turn the prototype and get the exact dimensions. I don't think it's going to take more than about 30 minutes a piece to turn these. Your dimensions are obviously going to vary based on your particular headphone set that you're pimping. So I'm not going to get crazy about giving you every single dimension on this, because you're going to really have to get you a sketch of what you're going to come up with and mark all your directions. Now I'll take the pencil mark. I'm going to measure 1.5 inches. And what I like to do, I mark it in pencil, but then I like to immediately follow up with a hard parting cut, so there's no confusion as to where I'm going with that step. Okay, now we're going to drill all the way through this, in this case about 1.5 inches. Then we're going to come down here and put a shoulder by coming down here with a box scraper and leaving a ledge. Then we'll start shaping this thing to size. So I'm going to use my Jacob's chuck mount. Of course, like I say, I'm using 1.5 inches. Your mileage may vary based on your headphones. Slow the speed down to no more than about 500 on a big drill bit like this. Keep your hand on the Jacob's chuck as you retract. Because if it comes loose, you want to know it by feeling it, so you can hit the emergency switch. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take this down a little bit. I've sized it with the prototype, some calipers, and let's just get a feel for. Just going to start on the outside edge. Actually, I can probably get a close approximation like this. Okay. Get the speed up to about 1,000. I'm bracing this under my elbow to give it some additional support since I'm only using one hand. And there we are. Now I'm going to go ahead and size the rest of it. That size. Okay, so I've measured the driver with these calipers, And I'm going to just go ahead and mark, being a little bit conservative here, you know, touching this edge and this edge, trying to get it to match that hole. And there we've got it. Now we're going to use a box scraper and size that. Okay, so now I'm just going to start it. We're just going to trial fit. Instead of using measurements, I think it's probably easier just to use the actual driver. So we'll know exactly what it is. And now we're pretty doggone close. I think we'll come back and fine tune that at the end. Now I can go down 27 millimeters and create a little ledge on the inside that the mesh is going to go in. Zero these out, lock it so it won't slip on me. Get a rough idea where I'm going with this thing. And I'm just going to take that and continue it down, so I'll get a little ways to go. Another 3/8 of an inch or so. A little more cautious slipping in to hit that ledge. I think that'll almost have us there. I've marked 3 locations for the holes, and I did that visually. I took the chuck off and just held this, what looks like the middle, because this will be close enough, and then 90-degree axis for the other hole. We're going to drill the hole just a shy closer to the earphone pad, off center, maybe by 1 millimeter, so it'll pivot. Alright, so I've got an 1/8 inch drill. We don't care if it's a little tear out on the back side, because you're not going to see it, so it won't make any difference. Alright, just have it straight up. Okay, here's my son discovered an easy way to mark where the holes are. Just put the old one on it and line it up. Duh. Okay, so I've taken the measurements, transformed it, cut it, drilled it, sanded it, and now we're ready to part it off for reversing it. Okay, and we're going to put this in some 75 millimeter jaws and finish it. Alright, so I've parted it off. I'm using these 75 millimeter bowl jaws to reverse this, and I don't squeeze it too tight because I don't want to deform the wood, but the diameter matches pretty close to what it ought to be. Now I'm going to face this off and then put a slight bevel on the edge. So I'm going to use a skew. Got a little bit of ridge there. Just face it off. The skew will do a nice job of cleaning that surface off. Now we're going to cut a bevel, but before we cut the bevel, we're going to mark on just where that bevel needs to stop, and then we're going to put some detailing. I'll float this edge. This looks a little scary sometimes, but it just takes a little practice, and then you'll get comfortable with it. There we go, finally got one lined up. Okay, so now I'm just going to take a spindle gouge and just cut that corner off, so to speak. Taking little bites at a time. And that's just about it. My point tool. Got a video out on this point tool, real handy for a lot of things as a scraper. Almost like a negative rate scraper. Just kind of round over that edge a little Alright. I'll touch this quickly with 120 grit, but really too coarse. There really aren't many tool marks. And 180 grit. And let's put a little bit of sanding butter on here to keep the dust down. I'll put that on the sandpaper. And that'll keep the dangerous dust down to a minimum. And also keeps it cooler. With exotics, that prevents checking. Okay, now my plan is to put a texture band right there on the inside. So first thing we got to do is we're going to use a cove tool, and this handle kind of awkward, but I can turn this thing around to get the angle I need just by reversing it. Looks kind of funny, but it works. Turn the speed down a little bit to maybe 700. Hold this in place and just let it do its magic. Okay, looks good. Now we're going to take that point tool and just, like we always do with texturing, we just want to crisp it up a little bit, put a little border on it. So we're just going to come in there and just put a little outside rim. Little V groove on the inside and the outside. So get the speed up a little bit. Hold it down flat. Ease it in. And we're done. Now we'll do the next one. Alright, it's my son Jason who's had the idea for this project. He's going to go ahead and show you how to disassemble it.
It basically comes in two pieces that fit together, and the two pieces are sealed together with just hot glue. So you can actually open it by using just a heat gun, or even a hairdryer would work. But basically you are just heating around the outside just enough to begin to pull them apart. And I'll do that now. Okay, the next step is we're going to desolder the wires so we can remove the driver from the smaller plastic piece here. To get the driver out of the inner cylinder, we run around the edge of it with a razor blade. It does take a lot of practice and patience because that glue is really tight, and you want to be a little careful and not damage the driver.
And that's plastic. It's a CA that is mounted with?
I believe so.
All right, we got this mesh container from the dollar store that we're going to cut out to use for the mesh grill covers. Okay, here's the scrap that we cut out of the bottom and cut circles. And now Jason is they're sitting on a little ledge inside so that it won't get pushed through. And then we're just, after he's got it wedged in there, he'll just put a little bead of hot melt glue to keep them in place. I suppose you could pierce a thin wooden grill, but adding this wire mesh grill cut from the wire mesh container from the dollar store seemed like a much easier solution. And we just cut these out with some tin snips and used a bead of silicone or a hot melt glue to hold them in place. Okay, if you watched it this far, you must like it. Give it a thumbs up. If you tried a project like this, make a comment below. Y'all stay safe and come on back here.